Thank you for joining us at A1 Archery TV, the YouTube channel for A1 Archery located in Hudson, Wisconsin. I'm Dan Ellison, and today I'm just going to give you a one-year overview of the Garmin Xero auto ranging sights. So we've had the sights, we've been selling them for a little over a year. I've had it on my bow since last April of 2018, and there are so many positives to this sight, it's really hard to find negatives. About the biggest negative to this sight is, and I know what you're thinking, it's the cost. $9.99 for the A1i, $7.99 for the A1. So on my particular bow, I have the A1i. And why do I have the A1i on my bow versus the A1? So let me just start with the three differences. The A1i gives me the ability to communicate with other Garmin products, a Garmin watch and Garmin GPS. Now, I don't have either of those, but I know some people that do and have used it. Number two is the ability for the A1i to go green or red on the pins. When I go to my pin sight, when I set that up, I have the ability to use green or red, where the A1 just has the ability to be red. But the number one reason why I'm using the A1i is that I can set up multiple arrow profiles in this sight, meaning that I have a whitetail set up and I shoot about 300 feet per second, and then I go to a real big game, elk or moose, where I'm going to be shooting about 260 feet per second. And I can set both of those arrow profiles up into my sight and switch over whenever I want. And that is super cool, and that's why I have the A1i. So let's talk setup. At A1 Archery, we've set up a little over 4 dozen of these Garmin sights, and that's quite a few, I think, and enough for us at the shop to have a lot of experience with them. So I'm going to tell you that I believe that this sight is semi-difficult to set up, meaning that I think most people, if they just bought one and brought it home and tried setting up on their bow, you're going to be incredibly frustrated. You really need a pro shop to help you set this sight up, or you need to have somebody that has some experience setting it up, because there are some difficulties, but I will tell you that it does get a lot easier. It's just like getting your first smartphone, all the different stuff. Once you get the email set up, once you get your Facebook set up, it just, hitting buttons and going back, toggling back and forth, it does become a lot easier. Let's touch on weather. I see a lot of people thinking, oh, the weather, it's going to freeze up, it's not going to perform well. Well, I can tell you this. I've had it in some really cold weather in Missouri and in Wisconsin, and I've had it in hot weather. I've had it in dusty weather. I was in Texas with it. No issues. I've had this whole housing just caked with snow. Dropped my bow. I'm thinking, digging it out, I'm thinking it's going to be all foggy. No, it wasn't. I have no issues with the weather. I have not heard of any issues. I'm not saying there hasn't been, but from my standpoint or my customers' feedback, I haven't had any issues with the weather. Another issue is batteries. I see some comments online that say, oh yeah, you've hunted all year and the big buck, here comes your opportunity, you pull back, oh, dead battery. No, it doesn't work like that actually, guys. The battery system in here is off the charts. I mean, it's 2 AAA lithium batteries. I wish I had game cameras or camcorders or whatever that could last half as long as what this thing does. So that is off the charts. And it also has a safety feature. But it has you're in an auto ranging system where you use a rangefinder, but you can also toggle to a pin sight. And if the batteries do get so low that you cannot operate the rangefinder, then it will always have enough to operate the pin sight. So you won't be able to use your rangefinder, but you'll be able to have a pin sight in here. And that's kind of a check, just in case you didn't change your batteries, even though it will flash and tell you need new batteries. So I'm going to give you a couple tips, a couple things to consider or that you really need to focus on if you do have the Garmin sight or if you do get one. Number one is the trigger location. So you want to spend some time practicing, making sure you get your trigger in the proper location for your index finger to tap it or hold it down. And you probably want to practice with some gloves on it, because that will change your grip a little bit and it'll change the location of the trigger. So before you spend a lot of time and get that all dialed in, make sure you find the right spot for it in every application you're going to use it in. The other thing that you're going to have is a very consistent grip, because this sight has an alignment tool very similar to an IQ sight would have, where when you pull back and you squeeze the trigger, you're going to have a little green circle that matches up with your range pin, and that has to be in line in order for the rangefinder to hit exactly what you're aiming at. And if you have an issue torquing your bow and you're not real consistent on your grip, you are not going to be very consistent lining up the built-in alignment tool in this sight. So focus on having a very, very consistent grip. The other thing that you really want to do, and I kind of learned this the hard way early on, is you want to spend a little time and get the wire going from your trigger to your rangefinder. Get that zip tied in multiple spots on your sight and around your riser. Make sure that if something does grab it, it doesn't pull the whole system out. And like I said, I didn't break one, but I did not spend a lot of time to making sure that was fastened really good. And you know, I almost ripped it right out. So anyways, hopefully that helps you decide whether or not it's going to be an investment for you. If you like our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel or check us out at a1archery.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you soon.